All right, here is a tutorial for gradient value portraits. All right, so here is the portrait that I'm working with. I have traced the outlines onto my paper, and I got a little excited and started doing a little bit of shading, okay? So what I am gonna do is start with Sweet Jolene. I'm working with this technique up here and utilizing the side of my pencil. So what I will go ahead and do is I want to make sure my pencil is really well sharpened. When I do fine details, it's really important to have a well sharpened pencil for sure. I am going to use the side of my pencil quite a bit. So what I'm doing here is just trying to focus on her eyes, just like I did with my stipple. And I'm just going to kind of outline here. Trying to focus on the details that I can see in her eyes. There are some lighter parts in there, and there's some darker parts, okay? The important thing with trying to make a portrait look realistic is that you are drawing what you see and not just what you know. These eyes are really dark in this portrait. There is a lot of detail that I can't see, and that is going to mean that my picture is not going to show just a typical eye. I'm going to see a lot of different details, but in the eyes in particular, I want to show the darkness that I see and try to really focus on that, because it is really easy to lose sight of what you're doing. And in this case, if you start off by just drawing what you see, drawing what you know an eye looks like, showing the whites in the sclera and the pupils. The thing is I don't see a whole lot of that in my picture. I just don't. So what I'm going in and trying to show are the details that I see, which is dark areas and a little bit lighter areas. It's really not easy to see, so I'm going to be darkening a lot of those spots, and I'm trying to show also the shape that I see. And so the more you pay attention to what you see in your photo and less of what you think an eye should look like, the better off you're going to be. I love when I can see a lot of details in the eyes, but this particular portrait just doesn't show that. It's still a darling photo, and that's why I love it, is because it shows my cute little girls' personalities and the sweet innocence of being little. They're happy little kids. Okay, so I'm mimicking what I see in the picture. I try to really emphasize that we can't always see all the details that we know are there. We know she has eyelashes. We know that she has pupils. And we know that she has those details, but I can't see all of it, okay? So that's going to be really important. Now, I have to be really careful. If I have my pencil standing up like a soldier, I gotta be real careful to be slow and not go too fast, because then I will end up with really hard lines. So I'm really not pressing too hard. And that's going to be the trick for you, is learning how to press hard and lighter. I think I just saw a video on YouTube yesterday, or on Facebook, I don't know what I was looking at, where a teacher was trying to demonstrate to her students how to show them how hard they're pressing and how light they're pressing. That's really important for you guys to know, because if you're pressing too hard, you're also going to end up with really hard, dark outlines. And it's always easier to add more graphite than it is to take it away. Sure, if you're using a pencil, you can very easily take an eraser. But did you know that erasers are actually damaging your paper? And that is because they're erasers. What they do is they remove fibers from your paper. So that's really not a good thing. So you want to try to be mindful of that, and you may not have even known that before today. Now, while I'm working on these really, really fine eyebrows, I am making sure that my pencil's really well sharpened. Now, if your sharpener at home isn't the greatest and you need a better one, you can always let me know and I'll hook you up. Okay, so see how I'm going nice and slow. I'm working on these details. I am trying to press lighter and trying to pay close attention. So I'm doing two different portraits right now for you guys. I have a stipple portrait and I have this one right here. You know what? This is going to be a really nice Christmas gift. And that's what I'm focusing on this year. I'm not gonna go and spend a bunch of money at Amazon. They've made enough money off of us this year. I want to make sure that I make things for my family for Christmas. And this is a great way to utilize your time and get a good grade in art class, which is always a bonus. Okay. So you can tell from my video so far that what I'm doing and the trick that I'm following here is that the reason it's looking realistic so far is because I am taking my time and I am just shading in the darks and the lights. That's what the value scales are all about, okay? Pay attention to the areas that are darker. Pay attention to the areas that are lighter, and in the end you will find that you focus less on the fact that you're drawing an eye or a nose or teeth or a mouth or whatever, and you'll focus more on showing just the shadows that you see. Okay, I think I might have gone a little too dark here, so you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna tap my eraser. And this way I'm not damaging my paper so much. And now I give a more subtle value there, and that fixed my little boo-boo, okay? So that's gonna be really helpful for you. Instead of taking your eraser and erasing, I want you to try to just give it a little tap. And that's gonna help you guys, okay? So does this process happen quickly? Are you going to get this done in a day or a couple days? Probably not. It's going to take some time, and that is something that I think you can understand is really valuable right now. And I think that if you really try your best to follow my examples and use my advice to help you understand how to do portraiture, that in the end you are going to have a beautiful portrait that you can share with someone. And hopefully you chose someone that is special to you. Let's say you were that person that maybe chose to go with a celebrity online. What if you change your mind and you decide, you know what, I'm going to be spending a lot of time on this. Maybe I should go ahead and photograph someone really important in my life. What a great way to honor them. A grandparent, a mom, a dad, a brother, a sister, anyone really. Okay, so keep that in mind. If you change your mind on who you want to be drawing, you're going to spend a decent amount of time on it. Then, you know, that's a change you should make now. Okay, all right. So I'm just kind of working on some of the different shadows as I move around the face. I kind of jump around to different areas and try to focus on just kind of using really light marks and trying not to do too much at one time. I can always erase. That's definitely an option for you. I can also blend using my eraser. And if I got too dark in an area, tap, 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 tap. And there comes in your blending stump. If you haven't purchased one of these, they're awesome. They're great to have for portraiture. So I recommend that if you're, you know, on the fence about maybe getting something like that, it's going to make your life easier. Truly, truly will. Okay, so I'm starting to make my face look rounded. And that is, you know, really going to be helpful to making your picture look realistic. Right now I've probably gotten a little too dark, but I can always adjust that a little bit more later. For right now, I'm just kind of bringing in some of the different values that I see. Focusing on making that face look round, okay? That's the key to portraiture, is making the features look realistic, utilizing the shadows, the darks and the lights. So the light areas, I'm going to let the white paper show through. So this highlight right here on the cheek, that's going to be the white paper showing through for right now, okay? All right, I'm going to sign off in just a second here. Just working on some of these little shadows. I think I've given you a nice start, a good idea of how to work with this in your own portrait. Okay? So as I'm working around the nose, the best way to make a nose is to pay attention to the shadows. Stop thinking about the shape of the nose. That's where a lot of people get hung up. Don't worry about the shape of the nose. I want you to focus on the shadows. So right here is where we begin to see some highlights. And those highlights are what are going to make that nose look realistic. All right. I'm going to sign off now.